Hi, this is Coach Rogers here with the Career Coach Talk Show. Welcome to today's episode. We have a wonderful guest that have the privilege to introduce to you, Miss Kyara Murry. Now, Miss Kyara Murry is a consulting specialist at Selectory Consulting. She's experienced in nonprofit and entertainment, and she's an entertainment coordinator. She's from Janesville, Wisconsin. She is an advocate for others. She wants to create freedom through knowledge for the Black community, and she wants to help establish financial freedom for minorities through her vision. She's most passionate about the art of being creative in business, and she is a soon-to-be graduate of Texas Southern University Thurgood Marshall School of Law. She has her master's in public administration and nonprofit management from Columbia University in the city of New York. She has her bachelor's degree in political science and government from Tennessee State University. She's a tutor, she's a painter, she's a dance teacher. She has a business called Legally Black LLC, which she's going to tell us a lot more about. I am proud to introduce to you guys today our guest, Miss Kyara Murry. Hi, Kyara. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. So thank you so much for being on the show today. It took me a while to do your intro because you have so much credentials. I mean, you do a little bit of everything. You're a lawyer, you're in the arts, you know what I'm saying? You're an advocate for those who need someone to speak up for them. So thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to meet with us. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So first off, tell us how you're doing and how you're dealing with life in this new normal COVID world.
Yes, definitely. I would say I've been doing pretty well. Most of the work that I was doing prior to COVID was virtual. I have Select3 Consulting, which is a consulting firm that helps startups and nonprofits form their business. We help them with financial planning. We do their marketing, websites, anything to that nature that you need in order to have a successful business. And I do that with two other young ladies. And the two young ladies that I work with live in different states. So our business has been virtual for about a year. So when COVID happened, it actually kind of increased our clientele because a lot of people started to realize that they needed to be owners. They needed to depend on themselves when it comes to business, opposed to having a scheduled 9 to 5, because a lot of people were losing their jobs. So that gave them an opportunity to actually go ahead and pursue that business that they wanted to do in the first place. So our business actually increased, our engagement definitely increased. And so that was a blessing for us.
That's awesome. I think a lot of people have experienced it. You know what? Since I'm at home or I'm working from home, or even if I'm in furlough, let me look at the business I want to do. I've always wanted to do it, kind of take this opportunity to do that. That does sound a lot about right. So let's just dive right into this. So what is your secret for continued growth for your career? You have almost got all the way up to your JD at this point. So what is your secret for success?
I would say my secret is consistency and faith. Definitely, I didn't know the exact trajectory that I was going to be at once I got to this age, but I definitely knew from the jump when I went to undergrad that I wanted to be a lawyer. Like, I knew I wanted to be a lawyer from when I was younger, but I just didn't know the steps of how I could do it. But I definitely just stayed consistent with that being my end goal. So making sure that I'm staying professional and learning all the different keys that I need to get to that level in networking. I didn't plan to go get my master's or certificates. That just kind of happened during my time of figuring out undergrad to law school. And then once I got to law school, I used to think like, I have to become a lawyer and work for a firm and then I can start my own business. You know, I never thought about me actually having my business while I'm also getting my degrees, but I was presented with the opportunity to do it, and I started to open my network where I saw people were having successful businesses but still doing other things on the side. So I went ahead and just pursued it, and tried to juggle doing law school and having my business, and it's been working out well for me. And especially now, I know online school isn't the best thing for everyone, but for me particularly, it's been great because I've been able to juggle all of those things extremely better as far as doing school and my business and whatever else I need to do during the day, because that travel time takes up a lot of time. So for me, just staying consistent on what my goal was and making sure that I figured out what needed to be done to get to that point, and then just having faith that if I prayed about what I want, that I'm going to get it. And so those really are the two things that I believe have been helping me stay on this path of achieving my goals.
So just right quick, you mentioned a couple things there. You're working on your degree for school, but you're also running businesses, and I'm sure you have a personal life as well. I understand that you're engaged to be married. So how are you going about doing your time management? How is that? How have you able to perfect that?
Yes, so when I first got to law school, that's definitely the busiest that I've ever been. Like, I've always been an extremely busy person in the sense where I've always been involved in multiple things in different genres. But when I came to law school, that's what really, like, I had to be really focused in. I couldn't be kind of doing 1,000 things at one time. But my family and my friends understand what I'm doing. So just making sure, for me, I like to send out inspirational messages to my friends and family. So that's one way that definitely keeps me connected. Like, I know once a week I'm going to send out like a prayer message to my friends and my family. And that just, helps people know that you're thinking about them, even if we're not able to get on FaceTime or on the phone and have a long drawn out conversation. At least it's just like, hey, just checking in, here's some encouragement. And then as far as my fiance, it worked out perfectly because he's a lawyer. So he already
Oh, okay.
understood the rigorous.
Similar
Yes,
lifestyle. So he understood already.
exactly.
Okay.
So we already had kind of a similar lifestyle as far as our work wise. And then my second business that I have is with him, and that's called Legally Black LLC. It is a legal directory for Black law firms, as well as the legal services that we provide. And so that helps because we do business together as well as have our relationship. So I've been able to kind of juggle that in the sense of, we're making sure that we're partners in every area as far as business, spiritual, mental, physical, all of those things. So we've been able to keep that communication flow that way. And then as far as my friends and family, they've just been extremely understanding. And I made sure that I take out at least once a week where I check in on the immediate family and friends.
It's interesting that you're in your relationship, you're building the foundation of the relationship with you guys doing business and, dating and building up your relationship at the same time. So it's kind of in a weave. So that's very interesting. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to do that. So if more people did that at this stage of your life, where you're at, then I think a lot of more people will be better off in the long run. So that's really interesting.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so let me ask you, what are some of the common mistakes you see in that your current clients or you see people make, in the community right now, is from a business perspective?
From a business perspective, there are a few things. I would say, well, this is kind of funny, but the saying, like, reading is fundamental. Like, honestly, really, reading is fundamental. And I have learned, especially from being in law school, that there are a lot of things that we just sign and we don't fully understand what we're doing. We're signing ourselves into these leases and all these different contracts, and we're just like trusting that whether it's the doctor's office or it's our apartment complex, we're just trusting that they're going to do right by us without actually reading through all of the paperwork. And so I think that a lot of people get into trouble where they're signing themselves into these binding contracts that they can't get out of. And then later on, they figure out like, oh, well, this was in the contract, or I can't do this. Especially like being in the entertainment industry, I like a lot of our clients that are entertainers, they'll sign these contracts with producers and then realize that they can't stream on certain sources, but they didn't know that because they didn't read the whole contract.
Okay.
Or now I know it's kind of a big thing where small businesses are trying to get the SBA loan to help keep their business afloat, but they're thinking that this is a grant that they don't have to pay back, but they're not reading the full contract that's telling you in 12 months you have 30 years to pay this over a period of time, and whatever is breaking down the portions of what's a grant and what's a loan. But people are not reading through all the terms and conditions of things. They're just, trusting the overall, or they'll read the first page but not the fine print. So that's the first thing that I think a lot of my clients go wrong in, is binding themselves into contracts because they did not fully read.
Now that is pretty big. That's a lot for a first point, because you mentioned the leases for apartments. You also mentioned the assistance that people are applying for right now due to this COVID situation. And you're saying, well, what I heard is that some of this money is going to be due back, and they're dictating the terms that you have to pay that money back. Is that correct?
Definitely, yes. Yes, like for example, the economic disaster grant per se. So there's like the pre-approval portion, and then there's actual the loan that you can get, right? But when you first get awarded however much money that they award you for your business, I've reviewed the form a few times because I've had a few clients that went through the process, and the first portion says that the advance is not to be repaid, right? So as soon as people see that like the advance is not to be repaid, that's what automatically they think, like this loan is like you don't have to pay it. But they're talking about the advance portion that they will give you automatically, that's not a part of like the actual loan. So there might be a percentage of that advance that is not to be repaid, but the rest of the loan is to be repaid. And so when you actually go through the end of the contract, before you accept all of the money, it'll break down to you where you don't have to repay anything until 12 months. And then after 12 months, you can break it up over 30 years. Like, for example, it might be $18 over a month over 30 years, or $20 a month over 30 years. And a lot of people are taking these $10,000, $5,000, whatever they're eligible for, and they're going to have a rude awakening in 12 months when the government is asking them to repay these things. And so, yeah, so that's just one big thing that I've noticed a lot. I'll get people that ask me to review a contract that they're stuck in, and I'll be like, well, it literally is plain language right here. Like, you just overlooked this portion, and like they never lie to you. They always have it written, but sometimes people don't take out the time to really go through it.
Interesting. So I was going to ask you, how can people avoid having this issue, avoid running into the issue? And the obvious thing would be either to read it or to get a lawyer to review it for them.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, patience. A lot of people, and I know I've been fault of it too, where you'll get a 40-page document and you don't want to go through all of it. Like, it's annoying to have to go through all of that paperwork for something as simple as you starting a bank account, the contract that you get when you go sign and make a bank account. Most people don't even read through that contract. They just open a checking account and they are not even seeing the percentage charges that the bank takes out of their checking, or what's due. If you don't have a certain amount in your bank account, then the bank gets 5% here or there, whatever the case may be. A lot of people don't take out the time to read it. So I would say just like growing patience to make sure that you're protecting your money and your rights. And then if you don't think that you have the capacity to understand what they're saying, then really making sure that you find someone that can help you do that. I think that's very, very critical.
Okay. So next question I would have for you is, how has, can you kind of touched on this already, how has COVID-19 affected how you deal with your family and how you deal with your career? But you already spoke about that, already. You talked about making sure you have touch points with the family. You talked about how you have weaved in your relationship and business together, so you're not neglecting your fiance, so you kind of weave those type of things in there. Do you have any other things that you could suggest to those for people out there who are trying to manage their family different due to their new reality with COVID-19?
Yeah, I would say maybe when it comes to when it comes to both family and business, I know that I've definitely taken out a lot more time to read life books, Christian books, things like that, to just open my eyes to a different perspective. Because it's not that I didn't read a lot before COVID, but most of the time that I was doing my reading, it was because I had to, whether it was for school or whether it was for my business. But I wasn't just taking out the leisure time to make sure that I was okay inner wise, and I was really growing in every area, not just being so business focused, but also making sure that I'm growing in other areas of my life. And so I found that just reading different perspectives about the family or about our history, about our culture when it comes to money or things like that have helped me to open up conversations with my family that we didn't have before, and has helped us grow closer. Because sometimes we just neglect to talk about things in the Black family, and think that time can heal things, but sometimes time doesn't always heal it without you actually discussing and getting over that trauma. So for me, reading different things of how to approach conversations like that, or I'm just learning about more when it comes to taxes and money, accounting and things like that, have definitely been leisurely things that I've been doing during COVID. And I think that it's kind of put me a step forward where I'm 25 years old. So I haven't had to do a lot when it comes to taxes and things like that on my own. I've always had my parents to help me, or, there hasn't been that many years where I've had to do that much when it comes to finances on my own. And so I had to really make sure that I'm taking the wholeness of myself to know what I'm doing, especially because my fiance is a few years older than me. He's 4 years older than me. So he kind of has had that a little bit more experience when it comes to being on his own or knowing about finances and accounting. And I, as a woman that's independent, I didn't want to just be dependent on, like, oh, you go from your parents to your husband and you don't know anything in between when it comes to finances and taxes. I wanted to make sure that I took it upon myself to know what I'm doing and be able to be accountable for things when it comes to money. So yeah, so I would definitely say, like, taking out more leisure time to figure out what is maybe like a lacking point in your life that you could grow in, and doing your own research to help with it, and start opening up some conversations about things that you wouldn't normally talk about if life was moving so fast.
I have to say I'm a little floored. You're 25, and if I do the math correctly, your fiance is 29.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't run across a lot of 25-year-olds that are espousing as much wisdom and understanding that you're doing right now. So I just want to applaud you.
Thank you so much.
Definitely, I'm 44, so I'm like, wow, you know. So
Thank you
it's
so
really amazing.
much.
It's really amazing to see that. So with all the wisdom that you're providing to us, can you give us a couple of things that you're doing right now to position yourself for success over the next 6 to 12 months if COVID doesn't ease up?
Yes, I have definitely started to get more into investing and learning about stocks and things of that nature. So I really want to make sure that I have income coming from multiple places, because I personally don't want to go the law firm route. I am looking to, is when I graduated in December, and I'm looking to just go right into my own business, own firm. And I think that I will be able to do that. But how I've been making sure that I am is really like capitalizing on investing in different stocks, for one, so that I have money coming through from that source, and then making sure that I have like an umbrella of my business. So we have Legally Black, which the main portion of Legally Black is to be a directory for Black law firms. So
Right.
something comparable to a Yelp. So we bought an app. So I'll be able to get that stream from just the advertising for those clients. But also under Legally Black, we'll have our credit specialists. You know, we've gotten into writing letters for people, helping them improve their credit. It also like the formation of your business, then the legal services when it comes to tax law, business law, and things in entertainment law. And so just making sure that I'm using Legally Black, but I'm providing multiple umbrellas under that. That's how I'm getting my multiple sources, because sometimes I think that people think you have to have 1,000 businesses instead of creating one big umbrella and making different streams out of that umbrella. So that's what I've been doing to make sure that in the next 6 to 12 months that I can keep my virtual business flowing, and just really also capitalizing on social media marketing. I think that I've learned through COVID that Facebook is definitely more engagement when it comes to business than maybe like a Instagram or like a Twitter. I mean, I found that as far as my
I
business,
agree. I agree with that. Absolutely.
definitely like I definitely feel like I get a lot more business from LinkedIn, and I get a lot of business from Facebook. Definitely when it comes to engagement, if I'm on Instagram or Twitter, you know, I'm getting engagement if I'm posting my leisure regular life, but when I post things about business, I'm not really getting engagement from that crowd. So I definitely have been capitalizing more on Facebook and LinkedIn when it comes to promotion of my business. And then I also want to eventually transition into more of a podcast type of thing, or doing more class sessions for people, opposed to just providing the service for them, but really like teaching them how to do it themselves. And I think that that will help sustain our business as well, if we're having sessions where we're really just pouring knowledge into people about how they don't necessarily have to go to someone to get this, like the services that we provide. A lot of people can do that for themselves. They just don't want to take out the time, or they don't know how to do it. So I think that if I start doing sessions on really just teaching people how to build your credit, how to get, you know, things charged off, or, you know, get these credit bureaus on the technicalities and the illegalities that they're doing to us, because people just really don't know when it comes to that. I think that that would help a lot, or just sessions on how to sustain your business. So those are kind of some ways that we've been working on making sure that our business is sustained over the next year.
Awesome. Awesome. So you mentioned a lot about Legally Black. You know, when I know you're about to finish up school. So if people want to get in touch with you and learn more about your business and what things that you're trying to do, how can they go about doing that?
Yes, so I have select3consulting.com is the website for my first business that I have with a young lady named Siani Cabello and Anaya Coley. We all went to Columbia together, and so we have our website, Select3 Consulting. That's on all social media platforms and our website. And then I also have my personal website, which is called Dr. Kyara Murry, and which umbrellas all of the businesses that I have. And then we also have legallyblack.com, which just has its own site as far as with the services that we provide. And all of those things are on social media as well with those same names.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We definitely appreciate that. Any final words of wisdom you'd like to share with us? I mean, you share so much. I almost feel bad asking you that. You know, it's like, I wish I had time to sit here and take some detailed notes to pass it off and give you a microphone so more and more young women can hear what you're saying. So any final thoughts?
I would definitely say final thoughts is I really want our young Black entrepreneurs to really just go out there and get it. Honestly, if you're thinking about it, if you really believe that in yourself and you believe that you can achieve something, you honestly can do it. There's nothing that you can't do if you put your mind to it. So there's this saying that man is self-made. I don't know if you've ever heard that, where people say that man is self-made or man is man-made. And I believe that that's like extremely true in the sense that, yes, your environment can shape you, but if you want to make more money, you're going to make more money. If you want to be a better person, you're going to be a better person, regardless of what people put in your way. You have to have that determination, and you have to stop, letting excuses or anything else stop you from being or getting to where you want to go. And so I really just want to encourage people to really just go out there and get it. It's not like I just came from a family that put all of the things in front of me. I just really had to set on my mind that I wasn't going to do the things that, maybe people in my environment were doing. I knew that I wanted to be different, and I knew that I wanted to break generational curses. And so that's what I've been grinding to do. And I believe that a lot of people can do that if they really just believe in themselves.
Awesome. And piggyback off of that, there's one of my favorite quotes by Mr. Earl Nightingale. Is considered the father of personal development. He says that men, that we think about all day long. And obviously, you've been thinking about success. You've been thinking about becoming a better version of yourself. And we definitely appreciate you taking this time to showcase that this wonderful version of yourself that's still evolving over this time over COVID, and still being successful and providing a great value to the people around you. So we definitely appreciate you being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me and having a platform where people can help others and talk about their careers and see someone doing something similar that they're doing. So thank you for that.
Awesome. So I'm going to make sure that people have your information and share what you learned, what you share with us today about your businesses. And I wish you all the success in the future.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for watching today's episode of Career Coach Talk. Are you ready for your next professional version of yourself? Come visit us at mdself.com. Schedule your free consultation or reach out to us via email at coach@mdself.com.